This is the Pursuit of Anime, where we talk a mix of anime and philosophy. And today we're talking about life or choice, the morality of abortion. Here, joined by myself, Raven, and Teddy.
Hello.
And, you know, just to preface, this is a bit of a loaded topic, not something I feel like you can just, um, I guess, finish off in one conversation. And it's something where I feel like our viewpoints are developing. Um, Something that's always developing, I assume, with all of us. And of course, also have to put a disclaimer out there: we are men on this podcast, and
hmm
I think let's say, like a subscriber put it, nothing wrote. Yeah, let's debate something we never experienced and never will. Hopefully, I don't think any of us are getting our balls cut off, right, guys?
Oh my God, this guy.
So, of course, everything that's kind of discussed, take it with a massive grain of salt. Take it from the point of view that this is an inherently biased um, kind of take from one point of view, and and it's just kind of a podcast where we're sorting our thoughts out on certain topics, and this is just one of them. So, we'd love to hear your point of view, and uh, and that's I think what keeps it interesting. Now, Teddy, what are your kind of thoughts on the morality of abortion? Let's have you open this up and kind of take us through it.
Um, so it's a tough question, right? It's a tough question because first of all, like you said, it's not we don't have much of a dog in this fight because it's not our bodies that are affected by that decision, right? It's women's bodies. So already just because of that alone, it makes for um, a very touchy subject. But if I'm gonna be honest, man, I feel like, and people have been going back and forth on the definition of where does life begin, right? So the way I see it, whenever whatever is scientifically or medically considered a life, once it gets to that point, you should really consider whether or not abortion is the way to go, right? If you put a gun to my head and you ask me just point blank, do you do you agree with abortion? I would say yes. And the reason why I'll say yes is because of my very first statement, which is it's not my body. No matter what I want for a woman to do is completely irrelevant, right? So by saying yes, I'm basically giving them the choice. I'm putting it in their camp to decide. As far as I'm concerned, you can do what you want. Now, whether or not you should go through with it, because it's not just the matter of oh, your 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 uh, your quote unquote killing a fetus or a life. It's also how does that affect like the process of abortion? How does that affect the woman's body in the short term, in long term also? So you have to think about all of that. But the biggest reason why this is such a particularly difficult topic to approach is like it's the circumstances under which the pregnancy happens, right?
Really?
Yeah, because you think about it, if a woman gets sexually assaulted and a pregnancy is a result of that assault, she never wanted that baby in the first place, but now she's being forced to carry that because some people think, oh no, you shouldn't abort. It's like, I didn't ask to get sexually assaulted. So why should I have to suffer the consequences of that, right? But then you
Yeah.
have some women, they look at it, they think, oh, it's still, a life, even though the way it came about isn't the most ideal, it's still a life that I want to cherish and take care of. And to this woman, I say kudos to you. You are brave. You are a special breed because that's that's not easy. That cannot be easy to do, you know. Um, but at the end of the day, like you said, it's an ongoing it's an ongoing conversation, and our views evolve and change with every additional information we obtain about the topic. And I've gone back and forth. I can't lie to you because I'm pretty sure you can identify with this as well. But I've had a very traditional upbringing, and
Oh,
because
same,
of
yeah.
that, we have a very particular set of values. One of them being that abortion is not even something that we think about or we consider. But one of the reasons for that is because the way our culture is, sexual assault or grape, right? Because apparently using the actual term sometimes can get you in trouble. But that isn't um, it's not very commonplace in our culture, so we don't really take that into consideration when we talk about abortion, because like that's
Yeah.
rarely ever going to happen. So, which means that in most situations, you are you have all the ideal conditions for conceiving a baby, and if you don't take the necessary precaution, which are either which is I mean the only one that people really consider like normal is condoms, right? Or if you're built like that, a strong pull out game, right? So
Bruh.
I'm just saying, right? Just keep it at a buck. So if you have one of those two, then those are your contraceptive options. Outside of that, if you do the deed, right? If you go to the bakery and you make a cream pie, well, you got to take what comes with it. You know, it has to happen.
Really?
So yeah, this is in our culture back home. That's kind of how we view it because, again, like I said, the circumstances under which you'd have an unwanted pregnancy are very rare to almost non-existent most of the time. Not every time, because everywhere in the world it's a thing, right?
Yeah, that
So
stuff happens.
that stuff happens. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel that, and I definitely identify with the kind of like going back and forth kind of take on the topic because it is a topic that I'll be honest, I don't know. It's not as if I know a tremendous deal about, you know?
Hmm.
Like when you were talking before about like when is a fetus considered like a real person or a real body, I wouldn't be able to tell you that, you know? I
Hmm.
don't know all the information. I don't know kind of like the scientific data and kind of the month exactly it is that's even that's even generally widely accepted when talking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Do you think that there's a certain age or month that kind of to you caps out and it just becomes like, no, this should not be done in
Mm,
any case? Like,
I
let's say
feel
they're
like
like a few weeks out from
mhm,
birth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
is that too much?
Yeah, that I mean, the thing is, at that point, I don't think it's even a good idea for both the baby and the the woman to
Yeah.
go through with that. So no, I would say you can't do that. Okay, like at that point, you might as well just let the baby be born. And the thing is, I think we kind of talked about this before, but there are certain conditions under which, even if you're having a baby in the ideal conditions, there are still times where I might be okay with an abortion. One of those times is if I know before the point of no return that the baby is going to have some kind of deficiency or some kind of handicap that's going to make life more difficult for it when it's born.
Yeah.
And it's a conversation I had with people. Some people say, no, you know what? It's still my child. I'll figure it out and I'll raise them to learn to live with that disability. It's like, but you know that you have a choice not to force them to live like that. Because the way I see it, you can do your very best to teach them how to adapt based on, whatever given disability they have. But let's keep it a buck, bro. You're going to be exposed to your environment, life around you, where you will be reminded on a daily basis that you are lesser than most everybody else
Yeah.
because you weren't born with the full package, so to speak. You're missing some pieces.
Yeah. So what,
I
you think
just,
that's more humane?
I think so. I think so because I feel like it's less stress on the parents and also on the child. I honestly believe that, especially in our current generation, where a lot of parents aren't ready to be parents, and you add on top of that the fact that those kids are going to have some kind of disability when they're born. I can't. No, I just don't think it's a good idea. I'm just being honest. It's
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I think for me, the way I look at it, like with that situation, like I can see like the part in me that's like, no, like you have to nurture the baby if it, even if it's born with a defect, like you know, it's still your kid. You gotta take care of it. And then I also see the part that's like, no, like just quit
Hmm.
while you're ahead kind of thing. Just like you know,
I mean,
don't
I say this like that, right? But
yeah,
if I'm being very honest, it's not an easy decision because imagine you're trying to conceive a baby and you're excited about the prospect, and then you go see the doctor for the regular checkup, and the doctor's like, "Oop, I'm sorry to say, but the full leg package didn't download, so you're only gonna have one leg. The baby's only gonna have one leg." It's like, are you kidding me? Right? But at the same time, it's like, but we've wanted to have a baby, so do we still go through with it knowing this? So it's not an easy decision to make ever, but I'm just thinking of the hardships that are gonna come with that from the perspective of raising a kid like that, and also for the kid themselves. Because I've said this before, because you know us, man, we always end up in these kinds of conversations. I've said this before. I don't know if you were around or if you remember, but it's like um, one thing that scares me if I
yeah,
ever go through with giving birth to a child like that is the child as they get older struggling with their disability look me dead in the eye and say, why did you let me be born?
oh
Why,
man,
why was I born if I was going to suffer like this and watch everybody live their best lives because they were born with everything they need to thrive and enjoy life? Like why knowing full well that you could like that's I can't have that conversation with that kid because
would you start crying or something? Or like what?
not crying, but in terms of like explaining to them that it was out of a selfish desire to have a child that I did it. Because they're like, so you didn't even think for a minute that maybe I might not enjoy this? So
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I think I want to maximize my chances at uh, at happiness and a fulfilled life. And if that means I have to make the tough call of, hey, you know what? let's abort this child because it's just gonna suffer for no reason. I mean, we can make it be, we can make it be tough and overcome the hurdles of being born with a disability. And now, I don't want to do that. If I don't have to, if I have the choice, the option to say no, sorry, I'll go that route. It's not easy, but
Yeah,
I probably will.
yeah, I understand that. Like, I think that a lot of people they they don't really ask themselves these questions. Like, I feel like a lot of people would, when it comes to that situation we're talking about, the scenario you think about mainly is the parents just kind of accepting, and that's what you should do as a parent. You should accept your child no matter what happens, um, when they're born. But it is interesting to hear that different perspective where, like, before the kid is born, you don't want to have it to have any defects. That's like a crazy topic. I remember I watched a video recently of a scientist talking about sperm, and he was explaining, like, in the diagram you usually see sperm. It has the head and it has a tail, and it's just
Hmm.
like swimming. But most sperm actually doesn't look like that. Most sperm is actually mutated. Like, there's like three heads and one tail, or one head and five tails, and some of the sometimes the head is like all mutated and distorted and has boils and stuff.
Hmm.
So he was saying, like, you know usually these mutated sperm cells, though, once they reach the egg, sometimes they won't be born, or sometimes nothing will happen, or sometimes they'll be born, and they'll have a defect or something. And you had a lot of people in these comments saying, you know what, we should research this more so we could prevent births from ever having any defect ever again. So that's a big topic. So it seems like this is a kind of an inherent, I guess, idea that a lot of us have about this. But then again, it can be taken too far, because a lot of people, they might start to say, and I've heard this before. I don't know if this has ever, you know, come to pass, but I remember a few years back I was reading articles of scientists saying,
Hmm.
well, before your child is born, you can pay a certain amount, and and I'm gonna look this up after I talk about it just to fact check it. But they were saying, like, you can basically splice the DNA, or we're looking into how you can splice the genetic code, so that if you want a baby to be born with blue eyes, you know, pay us this amount and we'll do the procedure to edit the DNA to allow for that. Or, like, if you want blonde hair, you got it. Or if you want, like, faster metabolism or something, you've got it, kind of thing. Do you think that that's right, Teddy?
I mean, we're entering dangerous territory at that point, bro. Like
Really?
genetic manipulation. I mean, technically, you think based on what I just said, I would welcome that prospect, right? Because like, oh, well then we're maximizing the chances of not having to make those decisions because we're going to the root cause of the problem and making sure that everything goes according to plan. But I guess because there's just something so unnatural about the process,
Yeah.
something very artificial, it just rubs me off the wrong way. It's just like how I don't like fake ass. Just go to the gym and build that thing. You
Really?
know? Yeah, I'm like let nature run its course, and then we can try and make the best of what we're given. But just at that point, I feel like Loki, we're playing God a little bit, and that never ends well.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely a dangerous territory to get into. I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like this might be a little bit of a dicey proposition, man.
Yeah. So here we
And
have the article here. Chinese scientists in 2018, they're CRISPR, CRISPR, is a
mhm.
cheap and easy to deploy gene editing tool that made the birth of humans genetically modified in a vitro fertilization center a theoretical possibility. Now it appears it may already be happening. According to Chinese medical documents, this month here and here, at the Southern University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen, they've been recruiting couples in an effort to create the first gene-edited babies. They planned to eliminate a gene called CCR5 that hopes to render the offspring resistant to HIV, smallpox, and cholera. So do you think that's a good thing?
Okay. Um,
Because it will render them resistant. Like it's not just like, oh yeah, I want my kid to have curly hair. Now it's like, okay, we're gonna
but
make it so they can't get the bird
it's
flu. Or
actually,
like,
yeah, or be immune to HIV things like that. So, see, I want to rejoice at that um, information because I feel like it can, man, it's great. So you can be born and not have to worry about these, ailments and illnesses that have taken out entire generations of people,
hmm
or that still affect us to this day. But my question is, what are the side effects? Because every time something like some groundbreaking, um, I guess what you would call it, um, like some new discoveries like this happen, I feel like the scientists that come up with those discoveries, they never take the time to really think, "W- can we go ahead and run with this? Or are there going to be some side effects that be?" And the problem with the process also sometimes is that you can't predict the side effects until they happen, right? Because it's so new, there's no documentation on any of this. We just come up with a way that we think, oh, you can prevent HIV or this and that at birth or before birth.
yeah,
But then when they're born, are they going to develop other issues as a result of that tampering with the DNA that early on? And it's like, unfortunately, if we really want to implement this new method of preventing diseases, we're gonna need to have guinea pigs. And at that point, you have to question the morality and the validity of that. Because some people are going to be like, how dare you use children as guinea pigs to test this? It's like, well, it's for the greater good, isn't it?
yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it is interesting. Oof, that's pretty good.
And look at
That,
what they're calling it now. They're calling it designer babies.
oh, not designer. Oh, no. Oh,
Like,
no.
bruh.
I mean, technically, that is what you're doing because you're messing around with the DNA and everything. But so you know what that means, right? Because people, especially with the advent of Snapchat and the filters and everything, people have gotten this obsession to look like the filters, like when they apply filters to their faces. They're like, oh, I want to look like this. And I mean, even I don't know if it's Instagram or TikTok, one of these two apps, or maybe it's some editing software where they're able to slightly modify their features or their bodies to look a certain way,
Yeah.
but it's done so naturally that you can't tell. Like it's very seamless, right? So um, now imagine if you're able to do that, but at a DNA level, at
Yeah.
a cellular level. It's like, okay, so I want my child to be born with this jaw structure, this color eyes, this type of hair. So you go around figure, wow, that's crazy.
And you know what? There's said studies are already underway as well to edit the same genes, but in adults, to get rid of HIV.
Oh no, okay,
Would you? I
okay.
don't. And would you, Teddy? Would you? I know everybody's got some insecurities. Everybody's got something that they would change, right, of their body.
Hmm.
Whatever that is for you. If they said, "Listen, Teddy, for $100, we're gonna edit this gene or whatever,"
Then that's a steal.
For
uh,
$99, would you do it?
yeah, man. Honestly, bro, you can even say, "Hey, we'll give you money to do this," and I wouldn't do it because I don't. Um,
No way.
yeah, man. I like myself. I actually like myself, and any changes that I make to my appearance or anything, I want to earn that, whether it be through dieting, the gym, or lifestyle choices, activity, whatever the case may be. I want to earn that.
Yeah.
If I'm not happy with something, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's not the because let's be very honest. Most people that have some body insecurities, most of the time it's because they're comparing themselves to somebody else who, in their eyes, has some kind of ideal body type, and
Yeah.
they try to emulate that, and so they're like, oh man, I really want to look like so, and then they look at themselves like, oh no, my jaw is not defined enough. My legs are too big. My arms are too small. My shoulders aren't wide enough. Like there's always going to be something. But if they just looked at themselves on their own, they realize, wait, I'm not too bad. And you know what's funny? What's really funny? And I'm pretty sure you've either experienced it or you've seen other people go through this. But you have people, they have insecurities about themselves, but then people around them will look at them and be like, I'm trying to get like you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build those kind of shoulders, those type of legs. So it's like a lot of the times people they're in their own heads and they get body dysmorphia because they're chasing this weird ideal. And most of the time they're never gonna get it because part of it is genetics. Like yeah, you can work on your arms but you have a certain genetic pool for how big your arms can get in
Yeah, but
comparison to the rest of your body.
yeah, but don't you have like I don't know, something like maybe like a hair, like I know remember I knew this guy once. He had a hair that was growing out of his like butt, his butt cheek,
Ooh,
and it
what
was
the?
just like all the hair grows out normal, but there's just one hair that it grows long, like a hair
Oh,
on the head.
that's gotta be annoying.
Yeah, so like what, like you have something like that, like you'll get rid of, $50. They'll take it down from 150 bucks, just splice the gene a little bit, no problem.
Quick gene splicing, nothing crazy. It's not an invasive procedure. You do it today, you can go back to work tomorrow. Uh, yeah, no, man, I can't do it. I can't do it.
And
Cause
they even did it on mice and monkeys.
oh, and they were safe. They were perfectly fine afterwards.
They said that the one risk is that it can introduce accidental or off-target mutations. If they splice the wrong gene, they can, ruin everything.
You
So
see?
imagine that. Imagine someone doesn't. First of all, how do they even splice the gene? Like, did they just take a tiny like a DNA is a DNA, man. That like it's
Yeah,
microscopic. How do you even splice that?
I do not know. I'm pretty
Like,
sure like they don't use their like it's maybe robotic um u- utensils or so. I don't know. I don't know because I don't trust a human hand to be still enough to make those microscopic the procedures, man. I can't.
yeah,
I don't. I can't see it. I don't see it.
that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to ask you something, man.
Yeah,
Um, because on this podcast we try to mix a little bit of real life and anime whenever we get the chance. And I was gonna ask you this: is a couple of people, a couple of anime characters that I I look at and I wonder,
should have they been aborted?
yeah, I'm like maybe you didn't need to be born, man. I'm gonna be honest with you, like oh man, I
Kid
don't know.
from One Piece,
Oh God, here we go.
he's absolutely useless.
What has he
Just think,
done to you?
just think of all the useless people like Kid, Deku,
Uh,
freaking
I'm I'm surprised you didn't say Decker before kid.
who's that idiot for One Piece that he's like his only power is that he becomes mud.
Oh, Caribou.
That guy. How? Why is he in the story? Like, I just don't get it, man. Like, who likes this guy?
Hey, I don't know, man. I don't know. He's more annoying than anything. There's a lot of people like Treble from Dressrosa.
Yeah.
Don't be like, bro. If you don't shut, what's his face? Ah, I know you love this guy so Yogoro the Flower.
Oh.
I know you love this guy so much.
Oh
I
my
feel like
god.
he definitely
That dude is useless, man.
uh more
Most
than
of
useless.
Kato's crew, honestly. Most of Kato's crew.
Mm,
Who else? Anyone in Bleach?
you know the problem with Bleach is even if a character is useless, their designs are so dope that it's hard to say one way or another. But if
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest, man, uh,
Yami?
who's that again?
Exactly. He was like zero. He was like number zero of the Rancor.
Oh wow! Oh yeah! Oh the
The Brolic dude.
the big dude, right? Yeah, he gets really yeah. Oh
I
yeah, he's
hated that guy, man.
he's useless. He's useless.
He was
I
useless. And they try to make him out like, oh yeah, I'm number zero. Like I'm actually the strongest. I was like, bro, get the hell out of here with that. Like,
yeah no.
and then they
The,
made Kenpachi beat him, like to show, like, oh yeah, Kenpachi. It took Kenpachi to beat him. That's how strong he was.
the way I see it, Noitra was stronger than him because Noitra required Kenpachi to use two hands, something he never did because he's like, yo, I'm already OP with one hand. What's gonna happen if I swing with two hands? And we saw what happened. It took just one slice, but
Oh, Sakura from Naruto
oh yeah,
should be
absolutely,
aboard.
absolutely. She was n- n- not only was she useless, she was a liability. It gets bad when you become a liability. So at
Yeah,
that point, I'm like, I would take useless over like a liability because at
yeah,
least with useless, you don't get in my way. You're just useless. You're doing your thing over there on the side. But liability, you're useless, but on top of that, you're getting in my way. Like stay out of my way. Like, what are you doing? So yeah, Sakura for sure. I was gonna say Hitsugaya, the ice dude from Bleach. I feel like he
Ice
has,
dude.
yeah.
Oh, the kid.
Shohin Maru? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The guy with the ice blanket. I feel like he had
You think he should have got aborted?
yeah, because he was one of those kids who were considered a genius. And so his potential was supposed to be on on par or beyond even like Byakuya and Kenpachi and them. But I don't even think he messes with those dudes. And then this is where it gets so pathetic. Do you know when he was the coldest? Like when he was the most deadly and the most efficient?
When?
During the Thousand Year Blood War arc, when he got turned into a zombie. That's sad. You're going outside at that point.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's one of the like age old crappy anime tropes where like Hitsugaya sucks. Shout out to King of Lightning. When
Ah,
when Hitsugaya sucks whenever he's on our side, but now all of a sudden he's not on our side and he's like the most OP broken like
I hate that trope so much.
like I'm like, bro, are you kidding
And
me?
it's always like that, even in reverse. Like let's say we meet somebody who is an antagonist first, and then they get turned over to our side. When they're the antagonists, they are so cold. But then as soon as they become good or they come over to our side, it's like, wait a minute, where did all your good stuff go? Like,
Yeah.
where's your deadliness? Like, where's your effectiveness? Where did it go? So yeah, I hate that trope. But um,
One of the anime that actually like does that trope, but the characters don't suck afterwards once they join the crew is JoJo.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, yeah,
Kakyoin, think of all the characters that they show up and they actually start off like fighting the
yeah,
main characters, and then they actually are epic as hell. Like throughout the
dude.
like, think about it like this way: Giorno fought Bucciarati like when they first met,
Uh-huh.
like nearly to the death, and
Mm.
Bucciarati afterwards. I mean, like he's one of the most epic characters in that show.
Oh, dude, he absolutely is. Oh man, that story moves me so much when you see what happened with Bucciarati at the end. Oh, that was,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Who
then
else? Who
like
else should have got aboard? I
I
don't
would,
think anybody from JoJo should have got aborted. Even Dio,
no,
man.
it's impossible. It's impossible. Maybe Diavolo. I did not like Diavolo. He was a coward,
He was
very
a moron.
yeah, a moron. Yeah, like
I
he
didn't
was
like
he
that
was
guy.
yeah, he was extremely cowardly, backhanded. Like he was always scheming. Like, he's always scared and never willing to go out there and get the job done himself. Like he was very sheltered. So maybe him. But outside of that,
Yeah.
every
It's
single
weird,
antagonist, man. Well,
really. It's weird because with Diavolo, like, there's some times where, like, I look at that story back at, like, Golden Wind and I'm like, huh, Diavolo, like, actually was a decent villain, I guess, like, compelling. And then there's times I look at it and I'm like, bro, Diavolo ain't nothing, man. This dude
uh,
was trash. Like, he was straight garbage. So,
yeah, I feel like we could have done without him.
yeah, he's very hot and cold, especially when you compare him to the other JoJo villains. Um,
But one guy I'm gonna say he should have been aborted, not because he's a bad character, but because he's a problem, is Yoshikage Kira. He
Kira
is
was a
such
beast.
a problem. He
He's sick.
scares me. Yeah. No,
He's
like
sick in the head. Johann
understand, right?
Lieber also. Johann Lieber from Monster.
Ooh, yeah, please, please pack that boy up. He needed to go. Like, because understand this, right? With Dio, with Enrico Pucci, everybody, Diablo, all that stuff, all they had, right? They had their own goals and aspirations, and the only time that they were really evil is if you got in their way. Most of the time, they're like, I just have this vision for the world or for myself, and that's what I want to achieve. Don't get in my way, we won't have no problems. But Jojo and the gang, they always had to do it. They're like the Scooby Gang. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for these meddling kids, right? So
Yeah.
for them, it was that. But Yoshikage Kira was a quiet, sleeping menace. The
Pure evil.
thing with the hands, I'm like, no, bro, you got to go. You got to be stopped. I'm sorry. Respectfully, get packed up, please.
You know, a lot of people don't mention Kira when they talk about people like Johann Lieber. I
Hmm.
think he like obviously Johann Lieber's like not in terms of writing, but I'm talking about in terms of like evil, like the
Yeah,
evilness of them. Like he's just pure evil, man,
yeah,
and
he
he's
really is.
sick. Like he's sick in the head.
I think the reason why people always will bring up Johan before they bring up Kira is because Kira, he was evil, but he will mostly keep to himself. That's part of the reason why I found his character so interesting and so funny is because he really just wanted to have a peaceful life, but be able to partake into his degenerate activities, right? These
Yeah,
deviant activities. Johan was a pure anarchist. He will plant the seeds of destruction and chaos and evil everywhere he went. And so he's like he feels like much more of a menace than Yoshikage. But yeah, Yoshikage was a problem, man.
yeah,
Kira was, and I don't know why Araki gave him such a broken stand. Like that stand is too good. It's way too good.
yeah. The stands get crazy. I still got to read the latest JoJo Lance. It was pretty good
Yeah,
from what I remember, but I haven't had a chance to really get. And oh
I'm
man,
a
Steel Ball
fraud. I
Run,
still haven't I still haven't finished Steel Ball Run. I'm a fraud. I need to finish
so
Steel
good,
Ball
man.
Run. I know, I know. and the what's his name? I forget, but he feels like the main character, but he's not.
Oh, he's I don't even want to spoil it.
Yeah,
I
but I
know who you're
know.
talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I know Johnny Joestar is supposed to because he's a Joestar, but yeah, it's yeah,
Yeah.
Zeppeli. Ah,
Yeah.
yeah, he feels like the main character, but anyway, going
He's a
back to
beast.
people that should have been a boy, Griffith.
Griffith without a doubt.
You know what's sick about Griffith? When he did what
Who?
he did to Casca,
Yeah. He was
he
smiling?
he got her pregnant.
Oh, he busted inside, is what
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah.
But why did he do that?
Because he wanted to hurt Guts. Imagine busting in a woman while looking into another man's eyes. That's sick. That's what he did.
But what but explain his mentality, Teddy. Why did he do all of that? Like what was the point? It's
Well,
really like he would murder countless people just to get at Guts?
see, the problem, right, for him is he had he had great visions for the world, right? He wants to create a world of peace, love, and harmony. And
You
he
gotta
no,
be fucking kidding me.
and that's why people. I don't know if you remember at some point some people started a narrative that Griffith did nothing wrong because
Yeah.
his ideals were good. His methods were more than just questionable. They're just evil. They're just wrong, right? But what happened was before meeting Guts, he had a plan, and he was going to execute that plan, which was probably going to be a lot more calculated and cold-hearted than whatever he ended up doing when Guts joined. Because when Guts joined him, he thought, "Oh my God, maybe with this guy by my side, I won't have to do those horrible things to achieve the ideal world I want to achieve." But then when Guts came to the understanding that Griffith always looked at everybody as inferior to him or beneath him, he got a little bit of an ego. He's like, "No, man, I'm Guts. You ain't gonna look at me that way." And when he decided to leave, Griffith felt betrayed, and he felt like he had to revert back to um, the original plan, which was we will achieve peace, love, and harmony, whatever the cost. If it means trampling dozens, hundreds, thousands, millions of bodies to achieve it, that's what will have to be done, right? And because I don't know if you remember, but the behemoth, the pendant that turned him into Femto, he
Yep.
received that before meeting Guts. So it was like a prophecy almost that whoever gave him that necklace, um, they looked at Griffiths and they were like, "Oh, you had that dog in you. You want this. This is for you because one day you'll come to need this to achieve your dreams." So it's like in a way he was always destined to do that, but Guts was like a ray of hope that maybe there was another way. But then when he left, he felt betrayed, and that's the hate from feeling that betrayal from Guts that led him to do the things that he did, because he so wanted to not have to be that evil guy for the sake of his dreams,
Yeah.
but he ended up being that way. And I think the frustration, the anger, the despair, the betrayal, all of these emotions tangled up led to him giving into the darkness eventually and doing the things that he did. It came from a place of hurt, and that's the problem. That's the scary part of when you start to really break down Griffith as a character. I am not. So before the moral police comes from my neck, I'm not saying that what he did was right or justified, but all I'm saying is once you break down his journey to how he got there, you at least understand how it came about. It wasn't just a overnight flip of the switch, right? It was like, oh, all of these events happened leading up to this. It was a combination of multiple things that led to him making that decision. So
Yeah,
it wasn't a whimsical decision. He didn't decide on a whim. He was like, I'm I'm hurt. I'm hurt. I feel betrayed. I was hoping for a better way, but clearly there isn't. So let's go. So
yeah,
that's how it is. But again, as I said before, busting inside a woman while looking in another man's eyes is crazy. That's crazy work. That could never be me.
that is insane.
It is insane. But yeah, so he ended up getting um, Casca pregnant, and they had the child. When that happened, I was like, bro, what? I mean, they probably don't have abortion
Bro,
methods. So yeah, yeah,
there was
yeah.
nothing they could do.
hmm
So do
So
you think that like there's a lot of people they say abortions are evil. Like if you do it, you're evil, Teddy. Do you think that that's true? Like, is it pure evil to do that? Like, because
that's very. Mhm.
we're just talking about like pure evil, like Kira, murdering people, or like Johann Lever from Monster doing the same thing. Is that like an evil on that level?
See, I feel like that's a very narrow-minded uh, perspective.
Mm,
That's a very narrow-minded point of view because you're making a very bold assumption that somebody just willingly wants to murder a life that's growing inside of them. Just think about that for it. It takes a true psychopath to enjoy that. Like if you tell me that there are women out there who are willingly getting pregnant just so they can get the baby aborted, that's a different conversation.
yeah,
Because then you're doing it on purpose, and that's sick. That's depraved, and I would label that as evil. Because why? Why are you doing that, right? But
does
but
that happen? Have you heard that of that happening, or is that like a
I feel like I
hypothetical?
have. I want to say I just came up with this scenario on the fly, but I feel like my subconscious is telling me that yeah, you've heard that somewhere else. That's why you're saying it now. So, but I can't remember. So
It reminds me of like the people that like on Reddit. I heard that there's like a community that like what they do. I forgot what they're called, but what they do is they go around and contract as many STDs as possible,
no,
so that they can give it to other people.
no, that's
Like
sick.
they get pleasure out of giving you HIV, AIDS. Like
No,
yeah, it's a thing.
not the
So that
Pokemon gotta catch 'em all. No, 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 no. Oh no, that's horrible.
yeah,
Oh, that's vile. That's foul, bro. No.
you what the hell would you do if God forbid they tried that on you? What would you say?
Oh no. Listen, I may go, but you will go with me. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Mm-mm. No, we're not doing
Bruh.
that. Like, who does that? That's
Man, there's
sick.
people.
Like, what?
There's all types of evil in this world, man.
You see, it's people like these, and I think that's another conversation that we had. I don't know if you remember this, but we talked about if true evil exists or if people can be redeemed. I believe in true evil, unfortunately, because I've seen it. I've seen some people they just do things because they commit evil acts just for the sake of them. And I look at you, I'm like, you cannot be a fellow human being. Yes, you're made of flesh and blood, but your soul is somewhere else. You're it's something else entirely. Like we the physical is where our similarities start and stop. That's it. Those people,
Wow.
in my mind, they're cut of a different cloth because imagine, right? There's some people they can get up in the morning and say, "Oh yeah, let me go ahead and just stab this person." Not because friend, no, just because I want to hurt them. That's evil. There's some people
So what
like
is
that.
called so what is called, Teddy, so that you can avoid it in the future. Um, they're called bug chasers and gift givers. So the bug chasers, what they do is they are, HIV negative people who actively
Hmm.
seek unprotected sex with HIV positive partners. Those are
Oh,
the
that's
so
sick.
so these are not people that they're infected and they infect other people unknowingly. These are people that are not infected and they want to get infected with HIV. Why? I have no clue. And then there's gift giver, which they have the disease and they want to basically give it to other people, no matter what.
That's so sick.
Yeah,
That's actually so sick. Ah, and the fact that it's a term for them, that proves that they've been at it for a very long time, and it's oh, that's evil. Oh, that's I mean, honestly, part of me feels like maybe the reason for that is because no, because you just told me some of them they don't have anything, but they want to catch it just for the sake of man.
that's what I don't get.
That's sick because I can see how like you're frustrated that you have it, and so out of like a sick need for revenge, or I don't know, like you're mad at the world, so you want to get some, you have some kind of get back or retribution, then you do it. It's still not okay, but at least you have some kind of motive that I can understand. But you're clean, but then you want to get to catch the stuff just for the sake of no.
That is insane. I honestly don't even know what to say. I really don't even know what to say about that. How did we even get here from abortion?
I mean, that's a good question.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like even when we talk late on the anime is still the center of the podcast because this whole podcast was like an anime episode in and of itself. You know,
Honestly, yeah, yeah.
like we went on a journey, man. Like I feel
We
like we haven't even gotten to a conclusion on like kind of what we truly kind of think about abortion. But hopefully the combo was interesting. I definitely had fun talking about it. It was
Dude,
fun.
same man. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was interesting. Do you kind of have any kind of last thoughts, Teddy, on the whole thing, on the matter?
I mean, it's a ever evolving conversation, and I feel like with more information we get, our our views and opinions are going to get broader, more well-rounded, you
Yep.
know. Um, and it's one of those things. It's probably going to circle back around. I mean, just in today's conversation alone, I've referred back to two or three other conversations we had in the past. So, it's just the nature of the beast. It's a very everything is connected
Yeah.
through particular threads, right? So, the only thing I would say, um, lay off my boy Deku. The hate needs to stop.
Bruh.
He's doing too much. Let the man be, okay? But that's it, man.
Screw Deku, man. Deku sucks. I hate him.
Oh my God.
I hate him like Kendrick Lamar hates Drake.
Oh, dude, I know you haven't been around much. I've been wanting to ask you about that, man.
Bro, I loved it. I love all the
Thank
music
you,
that's been coming out. It's great.
dude. You see how Chris cooked Quavo?
I saw that too.
Oh man,
That was crazy.
that was insane. I'm loving it. I'm loving
Even
it.
Eminem cooked Benzino for like the thousandth time.
Yeah, I know. It's a beautiful thing, man. Like rap. Battle rap is a sport. That's why I was so mad that J. Cole did what he did. Like you dropped this beautiful diss and then you're like, ah, no, I'm sorry, man. I ain't meant to do that. It didn't sit right with my soul. I couldn't sleep at night. Like, man,
Yeah, and he was like about to cry or something. I was like, bro, are you
yeah,
serious?
he
Like,
was getting in his feelings, all emotional. I'm like, bro, it's a sport. It's competition. Like, I don't know why you're getting in your feelings about this. You know that for the longest time, people's, I guess the big three, it was supposed to be Drake, Cole, and Kendrick. But because of what he did, people have been putting him out of the big three. They're like, nah, now it's just Drake and Kendrick and
yeah, I
Future
mean,
or something.
oh,
Like,
bro, yeah, no, that's crazy. You can't kick J Cole off. I mean, he's still up there with them lyrically and everything musically,
yeah, I
but
think
in
he's still
terms
my
of the
favorite.
battle rap, he's out of there. In terms of the like the battle, he got cooked. He cooked himself. That's the crazy thing about it.
That's the
Like
embarrassing part. He really did cook himself.
the thing is, if you ask most people or a lot of people would have had him coming out on top of the whole. Like, I get it. Like, I feel like, I mean, they're the victor for a reason. It's because they're on like pretty much equal footing. They're
Yeah,
all pretty much as good. Like, on any given day, one of the like any one of them can win. You know,
yeah,
on Drake's day, it's kind of like boxing. Like with the Four Kings, if you look like Hagler, Duran, Leonard and Hearns, like when they fought, one would beat the other, and then the other one that lost to this guy, you think he's out, but then he comes back and he beats like the other guy, and then that's basically what it's like with these guys.
hmm
So it's not like one is head over heels above the rest.
You know,
Uh,
the reason why I did have Cole probably winning is because I feel like he's the best of both worlds between Drake and Kendrick. Where Drake is a lot more marketable, and Kendrick is a lot more lyrical. I feel
yeah,
like Cole was the right balance in between, where he has a little bit of both, so he can appeal to both crowds. I had him as the favorite in this three-way, but he was like,
yeah,
"Nah, man, I don't want the smoke." So like, okay, man, you know what?
that's
I res
ridiculous.
I respect your decision, but that's weak, man.
And people got to stop underestimating Drake. A lot of people are like, "Oh yeah,
I
finally
know,
he's finally rapping again."
dude. He's
He
been rapping.
he just came out with a whole album, like with 21 Savage, and then the one with J Cole. He
Yeah,
came out with two whole albums back to back. What he wasn't rapping on them. So what was he doing on that? Like these
it's
people
ignorant
just,
people that say that.
I
Like,
swear, man.
because see, the problem with some rap fans is they only recognize a very particular style of rapping as rap. Anything that doesn't fall into that category, they don't acknowledge. So if you do anything that's like anywhere removed from what they consider to be pure rap, like Jay-Z, like Kendrick, like then they're like, nah, sorry, you're not rapping for real. So
Yeah,
that's just ignorance. But see, this is the thing that really irked me about J. Cole. His latest album that came out, the whole album, he keeps talking about how he's one of the greatest MCs to ever touch the mic. Nobody can mess with his pen. Nobody can mess with his lyrics, his delivery. He's talking himself up. He's building himself up. He's talking this big game. If anybody should drop a diss track when things get serious, it's you because you spent a whole album just talking about how you're that guy. But then when it comes time to test that, you retract it. I do have still some respect for him because he did drop a 7 minute long track. So I do have respect for that. But then don't follow it up with an apology and like, oh, maybe I'll take down the diss altogether because it's like, bro, come on,
that's
man.
crazy.
That is crazy.
And Kendrick in the latest song, it seemed like he was taking a little bit of a jab at Lil Wayne too. Do you think that Lil Wayne, if he comes in, it's too much for Kendrick to handle? Because Lil
Yes.
Wayne is a legend, man. People forget this. People forget that Lil Wayne. Okay, here's the thing. Think of Eminem, right? Think of like songs like Forever.
Where they're
Think,
both featured, yeah.
think of any song when you hear Eminem as a feature, it's like, bro, I mean, it's a mistake having Eminem as a feature because you know you're gonna get bodied. But
Yeah.
surprisingly, think of the best example is Forever. You have Drake,
Yeah.
Kanye West,
Mm-hmm.
Lil Wayne, and Eminem.
Yep.
And Eminem, I mean, and Drake and Kanye West, they just get bodied. Like their verses
Respectfully,
just
it is what it
respectfully,
is.
they did
Mm-hmm.
their thing. But Eminem's obviously, shined above the rest. But you know what? The only one who, time after time again, on a track, is able to hold his own against Eminem is Lil Wayne. He did that song "What Is Love" or whatever, "No Love,"
Mm-hmm.
and he was just spitting absolute bars. And
Oh
he's the
yeah.
only one that can do that with Eminem.
It was heavy. Yeah.
You know,
I mean, on No Love, Eminem had one of his best verses of all time. Like he went crazy. But see,
he
that's
literally
just
said it. He said it
yeah,
in the verse. He was like, "I'm about to spit the greatest verse of all time," or
he
something
did.
like that,
Yeah, he did.
with a crazy flow. And I was like, "Bro, he actually did it."
Yeah, and I think that speaks to how much he respects Lil Wayne's pen. That he was like, if I'm gonna have Wayne featured on my track, I need to body that thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to get embarrassed, right? So that's how much respect he has for Wayne. So when the greatest in the game acknowledge you, you know you're on a different. Lil Wayne cannot step in the ring. Like if he steps in there, it. I mean, it's
Think
too
about
much.
think about it like this, Teddy. Okay, so Eminem, he's this type of fighter, right? Like where he has basically all the skill in the world.
Hmm.
Like he's gonna go crazy with the flow. He goes crazy with the lyrics. He goes crazy with the double entendres and this and that.
Hmm.
And Lil Wayne jumps on forever while Eminem is going crazy, saying talk about the aliens, the planets, the Milky Way, you know, the hood, oranges, apples, everything. That's Eminem. And then Lil Wayne just steps in. He just like literally blurts out the first thing on his mind. He says, "I will never stop," like I'm running from the cops. And you're
Yeah,
just like, bro, like the bar just goes so hard with
real
Lil Wayne.
cheese moving silence like lasagna. Ugh,
Yeah, like bro, it's like,
ugh.
and the thing is, it goes so hard with Lil Wayne because he doesn't try to be something that he's not. He's authentic.
Mhm.
He keeps it simple. And there's beauty in simplicity. Like it's a
That's the,
great juxtaposition
yeah.
of Eminem, who Eminem is saying a lot. He's going crazy. You're just overloaded. Lil Wayne is just like a breath of fresh air, just simple, clean to the point, and it hits hard.
No,
And I've
that
seen
that's
his
real.
process too.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I've seen like a documentary or something of him showing how he records, and basically like he'll be in his room, like the recording studio,
Hmm.
and he doesn't even have the songs written. He just hears the beat, and line by line, he's just gonna start like kind of pseudo freestyling.
Oh,
Like he'll
I
say what comes to his mind and start building it from there.
I remember something about that where it was a short that I saw on YouTube where he said that before meeting Jay-Z, I guess he had a studio session with Jay-Z, but he said before meeting Jay-Z, he used to write down all of his raps. But he said uh, after meeting Jay-Z and Jay-Z telling him that he doesn't do it, he stopped doing it too. He's like, no, you're not about to show me up and not write your raps and had me out here like looking crazy. So he stopped writing these raps ever since then, and so like everything is off the dome, and it's the fact that he just remembers it all. His mind is different, man. He's a,
Yeah,
he's he's a genius.
and you know who did that to Jay Z? Big L. Because Big
Mhm.
L, if you ever look it up on YouTube, it's one of the greatest freestyles of all time. Jay Z is this is a young Jay Z. He's trying to freestyle with Big L,
Young
and
Hova.
he just gets cooked, man. Jay Z looks like a fool. He looks like a
Uh-huh.
he. You would have thought that Jay Z is a fool off the street, dude. You would have thought Jay Z was the guy that made you your ham sandwich yesterday.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like compared
He
to Big
made
L,
he made him look pedestrian in comparison, huh?
he just cooked him. Like
Ah,
they did three verses. Big L was doing verses on verses on verses on top of Jay Z, and Jay Z at some point was just like, yeah, uh, uh, um, uh, yeah, like literally like that. That's how he sounded. Like he was just confused. He was just like didn't know what to
yeah,
say.
he was stammering and stuttering like, oh,
But he is great. I mean, it's just that's what helped propel him, and I guess that's kind of what pushed him. to get even better, having greats like
Mm,
Big L. Big L
mhm.
gone too soon. Who knows where rap would be if he was still around?
I
That dude
know.
was a go. I feel like him and Eminem would have got along well because they had
Probably,
similar flows,
man.
like with the
Well, you
fast
can
style.
say maybe you can say his legacy lives on through Jay-Z because he had such a big impact on him.
Yeah, and a lot of people like Big Pun, Big L, like those guys were big on the New York scene, and they influenced like a lot of guys. But
Yeah,
but
man.
yeah,
For Drake and Kendrick's sake, I really do hope Lil Wayne doesn't step in the ring.
but then again, think of who's on Interscope Records with Kendrick.
Oh, it's M, isn't it?
What if Eminem gets in there? I don't want to see that though.
Uh,
I don't want to see it Lil Wayne and Eminem
I
go south.
the thing is,
But for sport,
the toxic side of me, yeah, the competition side of me wants to see it because I know it would go like it would be a legend. It might be a game redefining moment if M and Lil Wayne ever went at each other. But the thing is, you would know that it's 100% for sport and they don't really have beef with each other,
yeah,
right? So I think one thing I was gonna say is like with Drake and Kendrick, they're taking shot at each other in terms of uh, like either gossip about each other or different aspects of their lives that they can use right to degrade the other person's name. But I feel like if Wayne and Eminem were to go at it, I don't think that they would take that many personal shots, if any. I think they'll just battle on like a rap level.
it's like
Like
a One Piece clash where they
yeah,
just
two
clash.
two Yonko, bro, two Yonko going at it. Like right now, Drake and Kendrick, I'm looking at them. I'm like freaking Luffy and who? See, I don't. That's the thing. Sometimes I feel bad with One Piece, where I feel like Luffy doesn't have real competition because forget Kid and Law. They're not real competition for him right now. Maybe Blackbeard. Yeah, I feel like um Drake and Kendrick right now. That's Luffy and Blackbeard.
Yeah,
But if M and Lil Wayne went at it, that's like Roger and Whitebeard, bro. Like that's different. It's a different level.
that's
So
real. Like that's absolutely insane. Like
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
see where it goes. I don't know. Like Drake, I hope he responds. I hope they keep it going. I hope J. Cole, I don't know, man. I wish he never took it back, but it is what it is.
hmm
Um
that's a damn shame.
and you know what? Just real quick before we finish, I just realized something with the whole gene splicing thing.
hmm
That actually might, like, if they're able to make that sustainable, that might be a big W for the trans community.
Oh, you're right.
If you're able to splice your genes, like let's say you feel like, listen, I was born a guy, but I don't feel like a guy.
Then you can truly become a woman.
You can like really like like when talking about physically, like you can really just like splice it. But then again, I don't know how that works, man. Well, these just you cut the gene and what your your PP just grows into a VV. Like it just doesn't. I can't see it visually happening. Like but
Yeah.
but then again, I mean that's why I'm not a scientist. Let's just say that. Um, but these are some things to think about. There's so many different aspects that this kind of topic just bleeds into, and it's very interesting. It's kind of raises the question, like we think that the way that we think we're I wouldn't say think the way we think, because we're not super opinionated on this topic. I say we're observing these things through our lenses right now. But what are things going to look like, you know, hundreds of years in the future when they actually have this stuff down packed? Because I don't know if you saw this video in the British like secret forces or secret service or the army, like the navy. They have these like robotic like things that they put on their arms, and they're able to fly like jetpacks.
Damn.
So like there's tons of movements being made. Obviously flying cars are starting to become
Oh yeah, there's a lot happening behind the scenes that we don't know about for sure.
Exactly. Things are starting to like move a lot with scientific advancements, and who knows what things are going to look like. Who knows what humans will look like in the future. So it's crazy to think about, and it's crazy that all of this kind of sprouted out just from, you know, talking about the morality of abortion. Um, it was a long topic. We got into it deep. Hopefully, it was insightful in some type of way. But mainly, it's just kind of us trying to work our thoughts around it and learn more about our own selves while talking about it as well.
Mhm.
Um, we'd love to hear from women. If woman, you're a woman, let us know, and you're listening, let us know what you think about abortion. Are you pro-life? Are you pro-choice? Are you kind of like us, where you know, kind of trying to just absorb as much information as possible and make the right educated guess? Because I feel like for us men, it will kind of always be a guess. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me. And Teddy said all he had to say, so we're gonna leave you guys with this. I know we took like a week off or so, but we're back at it again, and we will catch you next week with yet another one. Peace.
Yeesh.